one of the keys to rewriting, I think, a fundamental key, is perspective. And I don't care how good you are, sometimes it is very difficult to trigger a different perspective within yourself. I don't care how well you know your material. And I think there's a bunch of reasons why that can happen, but if I can give a case in point, the screenplay I'm writing, when I took the job, A, I was excited I was getting paid through code.
Mm-hmm.
But B, I was excited because I thought it was going to be a big sports movie. And then I got in and started doing the research, and I started doing the writing, and I realized that sports weren't going to be 1% of it. But I wasn't bummed, because I was like, this is an interesting person, and I'm going to follow her life. I mean, I was bummed only that, like, I was excited to write, like, a cool, 1956 basketball scene, and, I love sport. I mean, it would be fun. And then, when Mira Sorvino, Best Actress Oscar winner, when we had our meeting in July, and she's like, I want to do this movie, but I need you to do this. She wanted more sports, and she told me why she wanted more sports. And the thing is, she's a brilliant woman, and she is truly brilliant. This is well known about her. She's super smart. She had 4 things she wanted me to attempt, 3 of which involved sports. But her reasoning for all of them was so great, and I said, Mira, I feel so dumb. She goes, don't. She goes, I never could have written a script like this. She goes, I love what you've done with this. Now I'm being the person in the audience. And I want to know what happened is I overcorrected to make sure that I kept the focus on my main character. And in the doing, it was an overcorrection. Because I had read, they had hired other writers before me, and all of them would fail because they would take the focus off this woman and try to make it a sports movie that was just primarily a sports movie. And none of them were good. They kind of sucked. Actually, they sucked. So I took, I kind of was like, I just boomeranged from that. But then when she was able to sit there and tell me, I wish I could see this so that I would know this, plus I think it would be good for box office. And I knew she was right. And boom. I knew what the scene was almost immediately. Because I knew everything about what this guy had done. But the way my mind works, and I think a lot of people's minds work, is we get focused on this goal, and we put up blinders to get to that goal, and then we can't remember what it was that got us there, because it's an ongoing process. It's not you know what I mean? It's not, but I mean, you're constantly in the middle of that, and you lose your perspective. And it's not that you're being dense or dumb, or in my case, I was hyper focused on getting there in a certain way, and at some point, I frankly just forgot about the sports. I put just enough in, but listening to Mira, I said to her, my God, you reminded me of something that I preach all the time, which is action is character. I need to see these characters with acting out their problems so that she can take action to try to resolve their problem or help them evolve to the next step. And I know what my old writing partner would have done. He would have just bitched. He would have been like, we don't need to do this. Why do we have to do this? And that's not the way to go at it. When I heard this, I was like, God damn, what a gift. And it made me think about when I trained with martial arts. One of the reasons that my training was so effective with Aikido was you don't block. You blend. You don't try to go at things. You let them go. And you use other people's energy for you. Mira brought this great energy and thought process in, and she even said, she goes, I don't know how you do it, I just want to see it. Which is pretty, it's kind of inarguable, right? If someone, how can she be wrong? She can't. You know, I don't have to do it if I don't want to, but if I want her to star in it, I gotta do it. But not only that, even if she doesn't star in it, she already gave me a present. I'm fixing that stuff. Now, am I doing it great? 2 of them? Fuck yeah. 2 of them? I don't know. Just being honest. Don't know. 1 of them is a mess. I can't tell if I did a good job or not, but the 4th one that I'm having a really hard time with. Do you guys want me to explain to you what the hard time is?
Yes.
So we have this little, okay. So, premise of the story is, Italian-American woman, successful business owner, first female pharmacy graduate at WVU, pharmacist of the year, owns her own business, doesn't get married, but not a lesbian. There's a reason she doesn't get married, but we don't know that right now.
Mm-hmm.
There is a superstar basketball player for WVU in the 1950s. He's a fuck up. They said, will you please take him in? Because he can't stay in the dorms, no one wants him. But, you know, he's incredible. She takes him in, they butt heads, but eventually she gets him somewhat functional. But he goes on to be a train wreck his whole life, but a successful train wreck. That about breaks her. But then they come back to her when he's done and they go, would you take 2 more? One of whom is Jerry West, the logo of the NBA, lives with this woman. He has a terrible home life. She changes his life. She starts taking, at times, there's 5, 6 kids in this house. There's 1 bathroom, doesn't even have a door, it's got a curtain over it. Yeah, it's crazy. When she's little, she's about this tall. And there are these giants in her house. And she has so many adventures I can't even tell you.
That sounds good.
But now, Mira brought something up that was very interesting. In the late 60s, early 70s, she had a player, extraordinary guy named Curtis Price, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. Curtis was not the first African-American ball player at WVU in basketball, but he was the first one to stay with her, to live with her. And they were so close. Every major event of his life, she had to be a part of it, like right up until she died. And I talked to his wife, his widow. What a character. She's the most amazing woman. She's so funny. And she won't cuss. You know, she's a good, like, Baptist lady. But she goes, and she was what my mama called a real witch in the kitchen, meaning bitch. But she wouldn't say bitch, she said witch in the kitchen. So as Mira and I talking about this, she said, I wish I had a sequence, because what was really bad is that Kurt, to put himself through college, in addition, he had a scholarship, but you know, you need money. He played in a band, so he would like practice all the time. He would play basketball games and then have to go be in a band. Like work late, you know, and this guy fucking worked. And he became a big deal. Coaching, then the governor appointed him to shit, and like he was a big deal. But he's going out playing with the band, and then at night when they want to go out to eat, he can't go in the restaurant because it's segregated, right? And I had followed that thing because Ann hated that behavior. The lady didn't like it.
Right.
So I'm going to change that into a basketball situation. I'm trying to think about how I want to do that. But Mira brought up an interesting thing. If I have Ann step in and do something, like right now what I have her do is, she's seen a Vietnam protest and she like says to him, promise me you will finish school. Because she doesn't want him to go to Vietnam. That's not going to work if I do the basketball thing. But how do I do it? Because we're in an overcorrection in society right now that doesn't make her look like white savior, like she saved the day. Do you know what I mean? She can do it in this environment for a white guy. But she can't do it in this environment for a black person. Because people said, oh, great. And you know this is where we are right now. So what function do I have for Anne then? Is she just a listening board? Is she the person who offers, I mean, and this is, I don't expect you guys to have the answers. I'm trying to take you into the process because now outside factors are preventing me from doing the easy thing.
Does he experience racism everywhere?
Fuck yeah.
School and all that?
Shit yeah.
So maybe she could.
And it wasn't even as bad there. It's like, as it was in some places. Hey guys, the most racist place I've ever been was not the South. It was Boston, Massachusetts. It's the only place I ever in my life heard white people drop N-bombs on black people. It's the only place ever. I didn't grow up with that shit. Okay? But that's the bad thing that happened back then. People would act like they were so evolved, but still have systemic things in place.
Behaviors.
That we don't see now. I didn't even see 10 years later. So by the time I was a kid, like my parents' age, those people were genuinely trying to say, you're not gonna act like this, and this is what we're gonna do. In fact, I was doing some research this morning, and I read this amazing interview with this, he's a Marxist college professor of African American Studies, and it was about reparations, and he doesn't believe in them, which is weird. But when he gives his reasoning, it was brilliant and really about genuine change. I mean, the guy impressed the shit out of me. I said it to my brother. I was like, this fucking guy is so smart. I loved the way he was thinking, because what he really was going into is how America is set up to keep poor whites and blacks from working together, right? Because it is.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's totally what it is, because rich people, really, really rich people, maybe not consciously, but they want to make sure that poor people don't get enough power. But then the thing he was going into, that was talking about how, and there's even, I guess there's a joke, I'd never heard it before, but that in places like Atlanta, rich white and black people team up to fuck over poor white and black people. They don't know they're doing it, but they put things in place that affects them.
Yeah.
And he even goes so far as to say Jim Crow laws were fucking white people all those years. But see, if we have that conversation, you realize I'll get my ass kicked. I'm not allowed, which I don't think is right. I think that's why I love that we have our conversations, because,
freedom of speech.
Yeah, I don't want to be suppressed, and I want to learn, I want to grow. I don't want to be you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do you guys see my problem going into this part of the rewrite? So how do I construct an environment where Anne can be supportive? And maybe I'm thinking, maybe this is the thing when she realizes there's a limit to how much she can help.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just it.
She seems to me like his hope in humanity.
Yeah, she's his safe haven. She is his safe harbor. Like, when he's in the house, he doesn't have to put up with the racism.
He doesn't have to put up with anything. He sits there and watches horror movies with her.
Right.
And I've seen footage, man, when she sees him, she hugs and kisses on, she loves him.
And that's a wholesome thing.
Yeah.
She just loves him.
So
These were
for
all
him,
the sons that she never got to have biologically.
Maybe that's how he gets through it, is knowing that she's there.
But I was thinking,
Even
the
though she
only
can't
thing
do
that
it.
I've been coming around, then maybe the thing is to hit it right on the head, and he turns to her and says, you're not gonna be able to fight this fight for me. I gotta do this.
Yeah.
This is,
What if they're
That
making
does-
him change? Like, it's all revolves around sports. What if he's not allowed to change in the locker room?
he was allowed to change in the locker room, but if they all went out afterwards,
Are you trying to keep this as much to the true story as possible?
yeah, within reason. I mean, I'm not like my one producer, she knew this woman, she's crazy. I mean, not crazy, I love her, but she's crazy.
Yeah.
Cause she'll be like, you can't do that. She never carried a comb like that. It's like, come on, nobody fucking knows. It's not a documentary.
Right.
But I also don't want to do something that just didn't happen.
Right.
But I do know that she would disapprove. Like one time, she was at a dance, and there was a couple there that were, I think, immigrants or something, but no one would talk to them or something. There was something, I forget what the thing was. And she was like, fuck this. And that's who she spent the whole night with. And she was the most popular woman in town. And she's like, y'all are nothing but hypocrites. You know, I'm gonna be friends with these people. But she was one of those people, a friend of mine told me, I hang out with all these old Italian guys, and we were making sopressata last winter. You know, the first thing you have to do is Sunday morning 9 a.m. you gotta do a shot of Crown.
Yeah.
What is that?
Crown Royal.
No,
Was-
no.
It's a meat, it's an Italian, like a kind of a,
sausage.
yeah, it's kind of
It's
like
like
a
a salami.
salami type thing.
Okay.
And
But
it's
the one guy,
delicious.
she was his aunt,
Oh, wow.
and he said that when his brother brought his girlfriend over in less than an hour, she goes, now I'm gonna explain something to you, dumbass, because she cussed a lot. She goes, you're gonna marry that girl. If you don't, you're a moron, this is gonna work out. And they've been married 50 years, and like they're blissfully happy. And he's like, she was right. But it was like, she could see it,
Right.
you know, and she was always trying to fix things. But, you know, I can relate to that because I'm always trying to fix things, and it's frustrating when I can't. Like, I really hate when you know what I mean, like when you try to help somebody.
Mm.
I got my feelings hurt here so bad one time. We had a kid who was really obese. He was a big kid. I mean, not like 500 pounds, but probably 3 1/4, 350, big guy. Depressed, and I am convinced, destroyed a final product on purpose because he didn't want to work on it. I was in the other room and I heard it bang. He goes, I don't know what happened. The hard drive just fell off. And he did it like the week before graduation, and everybody was upset, and it was what it was. We never did finish it. But I was worried about him, and he'd come and talk to me about a thing, and I said, listen, one thing you can do for depression is walk, because it triggers endorphins. I said, if you walk for 10 minutes, it'll clear your brain. I said, I'll walk with you. Let's just start taking a walk every day. And he's like, I don't know, we'll see. And I went upstairs, and later I came down, he didn't hear me. And he was back in that room on the phone. He goes, and this fucking idiot, I guess he just thinks I'm fat. He thinks we're gonna walk this off. He goes, and he doesn't even understand depression. And I'm like, I'm quoting fucking science.
Right. Yeah.
And he goes, fuck him. But he was just going off, and I thought, all right.
Can't help him.
But man, it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Because I swear to you, I don't even know if his metabolism would let him really lose weight. I don't know why he was so big. But I do know that when I get really overwhelmed sometimes, if I walk for 10, 15 minutes, a brisk walk,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, okay, now I can get something done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
God damn
I mean,
it.
that's just a fact.
Yeah, it helps clear that
Yeah.
energy.
But no, he said, he was like, like I was fat shaming him or something,
Mhm.
which, man, that crushed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, I mean, I don't believe in none of that fat shaming stuff. I feel like if somebody loves you, they're gonna be real with you, and don't even sound like you was coming from that angle. But like,
No, it was the depression I was
Yeah.
talking about.
right?
And he took it to me, and although guess what? He would have lost weight if he would have started walking 10 minutes. Because you know the way it works? You start 10 minutes, then it's 11, then it's
Right.
15.
Yeah.
And then one day, it's like me now. Like if I don't walk 3 or 4 miles a day, like I freak out.
Yeah. And like I said,
And I hate it. I don't want to exercise.
like who doesn't want to be healthy? Like it's hard to do it first, and at first you're not gonna want to do it, and you're gonna be like, I'll do it later. But once you start, like if you jump rope for 3 minutes, it will be easier to do that every day, and it will be 5
Absolutely.
minutes, 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But my thing is, we can't just keep narcotizing people. Just taking a pill.
Yeah, I don't believe
And
in
there's
that.
places, no, but there are some people that have a chemical imbalance, I get it. But they're giving shit to people whether they need it or not. When
Yeah.
they were giving out Adderall and all that stuff 10, 15 years ago, like,
And it doesn't solve the problem, it just suppresses it. And it just prolongs it because you're not.
But we know that physical activity, anyway, I didn't even go down that rabbit hole.
Nah.
But it was just, I think about that when I think about Anne having a defeat, like when she couldn't help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how bad that must have felt, or how personal you take that rejection. If I could just get this last scene written, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to figure it out.
What act are you in? Third act?
No, it's second half. So it's not really like a low point or anything. The low point happens just after this, is when her sister gets really sick and eventually dies.
And that's your climax?
No. I can't tell you because it was spoiled it. But
Okay.
it's a very complicated film because it goes from the age of 2 to 96.
That's cool. I'm gonna do a film like that on myself.
It's very complex. Like I had one of my guys who works for me read it and he goes, I have no fucking idea how you did this. And I don't either. But it took me 8 months.
You said this is in the second half of the second act.
Yeah. No, it's second half. It's
So it could be,
Second act B.
right around the pitch point then almost.
It is, but it's, what it's doing for me is setting up when she's aging out of being able to do this. Even though she lived another 20 years,
Uh-huh.
but didn't take the kids in, because the gap was getting, look, I'm worried about that here. I worry that my gap is getting so far from 18, 19-year-olds that at some point am I just not gonna be able to be a good teacher or be able to connect,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that's not me saying to you guys, no, Bob, it'll be okay. I'm being serious now. You know, there's times I don't have patience anymore when I just get like, you know, or feel overwhelmed, or you know what I mean, like come out of, like today I'm good, like today I've done 3 good lectures, or this is a bit of a lecture, but you know what I mean, like I feel good about it, but there's some days where I'm like, fuck man,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. My brain hurts. You know, I think it's important to maintain that perspective when you're in a teacher position. Of, you know, at the point that you're not effective at it anymore, you shouldn't be doing it. And it worries me. I'm just being honest. I mean, you know, I'm not saying I'm like, that I think I shouldn't be allowed to teach. I'm just saying I want to be aware when that day comes that basically not only am I, yeah, cashing a check, I'm forgetting to cash the check and I'm not doing a good job here. That's, you know, they need to lead me to the door.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in life has a course. You
It
know?
does.
Like,
It does.
sometimes you can hold on too long to the detriment of everybody.
But you know what's ironic, man, is that I almost quit here repeatedly in 2013, 2014, 2015, into 2016, because I could not connect with fucking students. And I'll be honest with you, lots of them sucked. It wasn't just me, but they beat me down with their laziness and nastiness and
Mhm.
stupidity. It made it difficult to want to go on. And I didn't do my best work, I know I didn't, because I just felt like,
Okay.
yeah, and I just felt like I was wasting my energy on people who were too stupid and lazy to do. And it wasn't everybody, there were great kids at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're in a class, and you, let's say you have 7 kids in the class, and 2 of them are great, and 3 of them are adequate, and 2 of them are dipshits or evil, that's fucking hard. You don't want to be in that class. I don't know how Jerry does it.
You know, I have first-hand perspective of that because I lived the program. And after my second semester, I just put my earbuds in and went through my head.
Well, it's very interesting. I've noticed that down there because you just see this.
Yep.
There's no one in between.
Well, yeah, because
Like they don't even socialize. It becomes,
no, you
here's the
need-
people that are going to be successful,
Yeah.
and here's the people that are going to make excuses.
And the ones that are just here because, oh, I thought it would be fun to be an effects person, and mommy and daddy gave me the money, and it's like, no, like, and that's, I think that is part of the issue with like film and like that world, everybody thinks it's so glamorous. Listen, I was in the military, I worked as a professional chef for 20 years. This is the hardest fucking shit I've ever done. Period. Period. The hardest shit I've ever
I'm gonna
done.
tell you something, last night at dark on the set, I was just like, all I wanna do is go home and go to fucking bed
And you probably still had 6 hours.
at 3. You know? Plus I kept sneaking out my car outside the Steeler game and getting all worked up.
The Browns won yesterday, that's all I care about.
You know, they did play one of the worst teams in football.
We still won.
But you won.
It's the first time we won the opening game in like 15 years. So,
That's fine. But anyway, so backing up a second, when I'm saying that the power of getting that perspective, just me sitting here talking to you guys, just talking through my problem,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a solution, but I already thought of a couple perspective points, not things that are gonna be in the script, but the perspective that I go, okay, what is my real goal here? And as I talk through it with you guys, I'm like, and by the way, it's not that I've been struggling for weeks, I've done all the other scenes. I hid from this one because it was gonna be too hard. But talking about it, it's like, wait a minute, Curtis has gotta explain to her, the roles are changing. Ann is aging out of being able to fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe because of all the support she gave him, he's able to take care of himself through that.
Oh, yeah, there's no question, and he, you know, he was articulate right up to the end about what he owed. When Trump gave Jerry West the Medal of Honor,
Uh-huh.
whatever they give, you know what I mean, the president gives you.
Civilian,
Yeah. What's it called?
It's the civilian equivalent.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but that's who he talked about in his acceptance speech in 2017, was Ann.
Presidential.
Yeah,
You gonna put that in there?
like in the end credits.
How many pages is this if you're going
Dude,
to?
it's so long.
Yeah,
It's
you're
too
covering
fucking
almost
long.
100 fucking pages.
It's almost 131 pages, and I'm trying to dial it back.
How you gonna dial it back? That's a long.
I know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm stressed about it. Yeah, because if I actually get to make the movie,
Yeah.
and I talked to one of the producers last night, they're like, man, 30 days is all you're gonna get. And I'm like, fuck me. Just what I need to do with basketball. I mean, I've been trying to study how they're doing basketball in winning time, which is really fascinating. If you guys have seen any of the footage, they're recreating, they build a basketball court. They have about 5 rows of bleachers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when a guy's standing there, it's over them, and everything else is green screen.
Mhm.
And then they're turning it into the Forum like 1979.
That's cool.
But there's a camera guy zipping around on rollerblades, following these guys.
That's crazy.
Dude, it's ridiculous. It's
That's winning
ridiculous.
time.
Yeah, have you seen it yet?
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
I'm gonna look up behind the scenes.
It freaked me out a little bit though, because I had finished the script, Jerry West read it, approved it, the next week Winning Time came on, which pissed him off because it made him look crazy. But a lot of what they did in it are things I'm doing in the script, and I gotta be real careful because I do a lot of mixed media, and they have a lot of mixed media in it, you
What's
know.
that?
Like, they'll switch between like Super 8 videotape, they do things, freeze frames, he'll turn and look right in the camera. Like, there's a great moment when John C. Reilly, who plays Dr. Buss, you know, Jerry Buss, who bought the Lakers and transformed them.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point, his accountant's like, you're fucked, you're out of money. He's like, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. I got this. And they're like, yeah, but we don't have any. He goes, don't worry, I'm not worried. And then he jumps in the pool and the camera goes underwater with him and he goes, fuck, underwater, right at you. It's God, and my wife doesn't really care for sports that much. I mean, she was a basketball player and she actually had a track scholarship, but she was like me. She liked sports when she played them. She wasn't obsessed.
Right.
She fucking loved that show. She loved it so much. It's so good. It's so good. It is for me because in the 80s, living in LA, I mean, you know.
You know Tyson got a little show on Hulu now.
Yeah, I heard
He
about it.
don't like it though, but
He doesn't like the show.
mm-mm.
I tried to watch it, and I gave it a few minutes, and I felt like they were just making fun of Tyson. I'd be pissed off too. felt like they were making a joke out of him. And here's the deal.
Really?
If Mike
Yeah.
Tyson walked in this room right now, all our assholes would still pucker and be like,
Yeah, man,
It's
I'd be-
Tyson, he would
I
murder us.
I would be
Yeah,
excited.
but
I'm just saying, they're making him out to be a clown.
Right, yeah.
Like, people are laughing at him. No one would laugh at Mike Tyson.
Fuck, not to his
Yeah.
face.
No, I would shoot him before I had to fight him, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I just feel like it's
You know,
really
he better put 2 or
disrespectful.
3 in it, cause one ain't gonna take it
I don't
down.
miss, and I'm emptying the clip.
Yeah.
I watched like 3/4 of the first episode. I liked it. I mean, they portrayed him as a retarded kid. I don't know if that's true or not, but
No, but he had, I think the problem was, I think he had such a severe speech impediment.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then he wouldn't talk because
Right.
he was embarrassed.
right. And they showed him whenever he was like a soft kid, and whenever he got in his first fight, based off the story he told. I don't know if you know,
Yeah.
like somebody ripped the head off his bird,
Mm-hmm.
and then he started fighting, and that got him into
I
it.
didn't know that.
Yeah, because Tyson, he used to train, well, he still does,
Yeah,
he
he's
trains
still
pigeons.
obsessed with pigeons.
Like, he's obsessed with
Because of Gus, was it?
No, even when he was a kid,
Yeah.
growing up,
Okay, no, I
he
didn't
would
know
raise
that.
pigeons up on the roof of
Right.
the buildings he would live
Yeah,
in. And he would train them to be homing
he
pigeons.
owns a couple thousand now.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, but I could see why, I could see why he'd be pissed, because I
Mhm.
feel like Tyson's still a dangerous man, right?
The
Like,
dude
the
didn't
only
even
reason
look
why he
like
doesn't murder people is because he doesn't want to. Like,
Right.
And I feel like they really defang him and make him into a joke.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. Whenever they showed him boxing, he looked badass.
Right, but I'm
Like
just
the
saying,
adult
like, those
version of him
opening
was pretty
scenes, I
badass.
was like, yo, I would be upset if I was Tyson too.
But the actor don't look like him at all.
Really?
Yeah, he looks dirty.
And small,
Yeah,
a lot smaller than what Tyson, and I know Tyson's not a big guy, but he's always been.
and he's
Freaking tank.
pitch black. Tyson's like my color. Alright, that's all.
I don't know if I'll get it. I mean, I'll
I had high hopes for it.